Ship it up, ship it up, ship it up.
$3,766 days. That's how long it takes on the average to reach the top of an organization. But while CEOs work hard, they play even harder. I'm Lois Calderon here in Mount Banahaw, and this is The Other Office.
Our guest for this episode is social entrepreneur Jeannie Javelosa. She wears many hats, building businesses for 4 decades. From eco-friendly retail brand EchoStore to advertising group Eon to bed and breakfast place Banahaw Circle Nature Retreat and advocacy group Great Women. Watch how Jeannie Javelosa channeled all her energy into improving the lives of microenterprises, farmers, and weavers.
Thank you for bringing me to your sanctuary, nestled in the middle of a mystic mountain, Mount Banahaw, a protected rainforest.
Welcome.
Why yoga?
Yoga, it's a part of my life and I've been doing it for close to 40 years. As a CEO, somebody caught in the corporate world is something you really need because yoga brings a very quiet, gentle inner peace, using the breath, quiets the mind. In Mount Banahaw, the energies are so nice. So yoga here is so much more different than doing it in the city.
I've felt it the moment I set foot on your retreat center. The energy is different. I've been doing yoga in the city, and this is something else.
It's because of the mountain's energy. And that's why I run away here. Yoga has really given me a perspective of the non-competitive direction to go for success. Because at the end, when you're peaceful, when you're balanced, when you're, with yourself whole and integrated, then life begins to open up. And as a CEO and as a leader, you end up inspiring so many more people. Aside from the fact that you don't stress people when you work. It's so stressful out there, it's unbelievable.
Teach me some yoga pose. Correct my pose.
Okay, let's get one which is a warrior. I think we need to do warrior today because the world is a bit chaotic. So let's move this.
Well, I'm trying to be a warrior myself.
So take your stance. Feel your hands. Lift your chin, look through, and feel like your hands are like ribbons to eternity. Soft.
Ayoko na. Pinagpapawisan ako. Ang hirap pa naman.
And you have to breathe. There, you have to breathe. And your hands are nice and soft. You relax the shoulders and breathe. From the belly, breathing in.
So I look to the future without thinking of my past. May hugot.
May hugot, diba? But it's nice and soft. You're looking through. And your hands are like all the way.
Stiff. I'm very stiff. No. Stressed.
Now breathe. The breath is the most important thing. Breathe. There you are. And once you're connected, you're doing yoga.
So yoga is about connection.
Everything, union.
Union.
Not bad.
I like that kind of disposition, peaceful disposition as a leader and a woman at that. There have been studies that, most of the CEOs are men, and there's this traditional notion or image of a leader who's, masculine, alpha male, and to the point, yes, and narcissist, to the point of narcissist, sorry guys. But yeah, so women are breaking that barriers because there's also a study that says women actually are better leaders because of that kind of disposition.
Women have a more holistic perspective, but don't get us wrong, because there's also a lot of women who are so competitive and they want to be like men.
Like alpha females.
And like alpha females. Yeah. And at the end, what happens? You're stressed, you're angry, you're depressed because you have to get that, no matter what, you have to go after it because of the profit levels and all the issues of running a corporation, right? So the world has forced women to become like men, when in reality, there are things that we have which we should be able to bring into the workspace. As leaders, as women in the C-suite. My coming back to Banahaw in the mountain was a COVID issue, and that's why another enterprise, one with social impact.
Tell me more about it. So you've been doing yoga for 40 years.
Yes.
But this center was a product of a pandemic?
Well, this place in Mount Banahaw has always been here for so long, since the 70s. And Mount Banahaw is all about healing and the sacred spaces, with the energy that can make our lives more enriched.
What brought you here?
It came to me in a very weird way. I was living in Paris, and I was entering the metro, and I literally heard what we call the Santong Boses, the sacred voice. And it said, Banahaw. And I said, where is that, right? Freaky, right? You're in the metro of Paris.
First time you're here.
The very first time. And I didn't know anything about it. And in a funny way, I was brought here in some weird way. In some funny way, I end up with a house up on the hill. What I'm doing here is not foreign to me. Because you see, what I was doing with my work in EchoStore, which is all about working with communities and bringing their products to market.
Yes.
And Great Women, which was all about helping women and the marginalized also bring their textile products to the market. It was all about this, that you needed to work with the very poor. So that was our business model, very inclusive. Here in Banahaw, all my experiences of the past comes together, including my culture angle, where I run museums and I write about culture. But here,
you really made quite a name there. It's amazing how you could actually deal, because you're a socialite. I'm not sure what's the
I'm a
term,
socialite?
Or you belong to the upper class, probably the
I don't know.
1%
I
of
think
the population.
so. When
how
you say
you deal with people from all walks of life.
well, that's what we're human. So we play our roles, right? You'll see me in a cocktail, fully dressed to the tees.
I saw you.
That's where you
really
met
did
me,
yes.
complete. But you'll see me on the ground with slippers and rugged, talking to farmers. Suddenly, here in a space, I can put together culture because it's beautiful storyline here. What we have, the pamumuesto, which is a traditional way of doing the sacred sites, very much like the Spanish Camino and the Japanese Kumano Kodo. We have the pamumuesto.
That one I didn't know.
Yeah,
that
but
we
see,
can liken ourselves to the Camino, right? It's so expensive.
We have our own. Why can't we make this a sustainable tourism place?
So this is a pilgrimage that you can liken to the Spanish Camino or the Japanese Kumano Kodo.
Yes, a Kumano Kodo. Yes, the Philippines has their own way of doing the pilgrimage walk. No? And this is what we call the pamumuesto here in Banahaw.
Ano
Ito
na
yung
po ito?
santong lugar or sacred site. Yung unang pwesto na to ay para malinis yung kaluluwa, yung katawan, at purified ka na para magbigyan ng spiritual journey mo.
At napakagandang lugar po, no? Tahimik, marinig mo yung mga kuliglig at mga huni ng ibon. Opo. Ilan po ba ang pwesto po?
Marami
Ang
yan. May sequence kasi yan.
Parang ang Camino.
Parang Camino.
Mahiwaga po ang bundok na ito at punong-puno ng legends at myths.
Myths and
Kwentuhan niyo nga po
legends.
kami ng kahit isa man lang doon.
O noon daw yung mga ermitanyo at mga leader ng mga sekto, mga grupo, ay pinuntahan sa isang astral level, sa dream state, na kailangan sila pumunta dito kasama ng mga grupo nila dito sa Banahaw. Sabi daw na nandun na sila sa may periphery around the mountain of Banahaw, may nag-a-appear na white dove. At yung bird na white dove na yun, dadalhin sila sa kanilang pwesto na dapat doon ang kanilang responsibility, doon sila dadasal. Kaya may makikita ka dyan mga bahay-bahay. Hindi ho yun squatter. Ito ay mga panata ng mga pamilya sa iba't ibang pwesto.
Sila po indigenous people.
Yun ang tatawagin natin parang indigenous.
Almost anywhere you look in Mount Banahaw, I see the symbol of this eye and enclosed in a triangle.
Yes.
Ano po yun?
So Trinity. At the center of it is a circle, an eye. So this is an ancient symbol, very esoteric, all the way since Egypt. It's all about God's all-seeing eye. So sometimes a lot of the other religions that have been conditioned to think of it as something negative or bad because of the esoteric symbols. I think we should be able to see it from a much higher perspective. No? It is really actually sacred geometry. Also as a directional sign. So that if you go this way, you begin to see the first three puestos that are here, and onward to the higher area. And then when you go to this other side, in this way here, you go to Santong Jacob, which is Jacob's well.
Para ka talagang nasa, Tomb Raider, no?
Tomb Raider.
Na merong mga meaning, yung
Yes.
symbols and signs, and even sa places, temples like Machu Picchu, and Egypt as well, right?
Borobudur, even in Asia, you have the different areas that have beautiful, beautiful temples. There will always be sacred geometry.
This symbol of the all-seeing eye, I've also seen in the temple of the Mistika. You've been working with them, engaged them for 30 years.
I've known them, yes, they are friends. And in a way, they've also become my community here. But more than that, it's because the Ciudad Mistika de Dios, that's the real full name of the group, which is headed by Suprema Isabel Suarez, no, is really one of the biggest groups here in the mountain. And they have so many planting directions and their own unique practice, which all the different groups also have. Now, they do have their chapels or churches, and you have seen this. They do take care of the mountain. No? They are stewards of the mountain. I think this is such a beautiful message for us today, because the world is so much changing, that the strength of everything now is about how are you in community with others and live with the diversity, right? Parang no judging.
It's a harmony in diversity.
Harmony in the diversity.
Beautiful.
Parts of the mountain trail are paved road, but unfinished. Why is that?
Yes. Well, you have some of the farmers are up here, and most of them are under community kapatiran. No, they come together and they plant in the mountain for their food. So the local government has started to put some areas of like farm to market directions of making sure that whatever produce is here could be brought down.
So you have their sort of a farmland.
Yes, since there are many religious groups here or community cooperatives, certain parts of the mountain are assigned to them, and then they till the land. It's hard to make sure that still at its most virgin.
So you mentioned virgin, but this is the part of the mountain
that is associated with male energy because this is San Cristobal.
San Cristobal.
The other side is Mount
Banahaw.
Banahaw.
So when you take a look at the two peaks, they're always seen together as partner. Very much like the duality of life.
Yin Yang.
This one is rocky, and you can see we're climbing. It's steep, no?
So the angle here, guys, is
This is like a 45
degrees angle.
which is a great hike. Negative ions of the mountain and the trees.
Can you tell me about negative ions? Because I know from science that negative ions help the body replenish or rejuvenate the cells.
Definitely, from the core area of the cells, anything that is about lighter frequency, purer air, higher vibration. The negative ions which the trees give out is something that we want to take in. And often I tell people when we walk, just keep quiet and, forest bathe.
Forest Bay.
Forest bathe.
Forest Bay.
And
Soak
listen.
it all up.
This is a bamboo grove.
They're like endemic here, or the farmers planted.
No, they've been here. They just proliferate.
We're out here in the wild, and there are parts of the mountain that are unexplored.
Very much so.
So how do you navigate uncharted territories? How does that apply to your business?
Wow, that's interesting. Because you have to use your intuition. And you have to watch and see what is around you as you navigate the unknown. And they say, like, today, especially in business, when you can't really read and do any strat planning beyond 1 year. Before it was 3 years. Because the world is changing so much in a chaotic way.
Several disruptions.
From a business perspective, you have to have this very creative, agile, resilient, and resolute energy or focus. That when you want to do something, don't just go linear. You gotta come from all the different directions. When you're in a forest like this and suddenly you're not sure, right? It's gonna rain. What do? It's either you decide to get wet or you run to shelter, right?
It could happen even if you planned ahead and checked the weather before you
Exactly.
went.
The unexpected will always come to you.
Yours is an interesting case because you're in that cohort that's born with, where everything was analog, and yet you have to adapt to things like to this major disruption like AI. So how do you do it?
It's exciting. I've always been somebody who wants to look at innovation. In that challenge, how do you create that sustainability as you move it forward? It's important that there are that same, like little groups that you can lean into, mentors that you can look up to and ask.
You really are an enabler, having co-founded EchoStore, the Eon Group, and Banahaw Circle Nature Retreat, and also as a CEO of Great Women.
CVO, Chief Visionary Officer of Great Women, is what I'd like to say. It's because the concept of the CEO is so traditional, and I have difficulty aligning with that, and I like the CVO.
CVO, an outlier indeed, a new C-suite title.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Jeannie Javelosa, for bringing me to your
I know.
other office.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Yoga and mountain hiking allow us to free the mind from distractions and the noise of daily life so that we connect to our inner self. So that even when we leave the mountain trail and when off the yoga mat, we still lead lives with a sense of peace and balance, an essential ingredient to success.
Ship, ship it up, ship it up, ship it up.